Hello guys, we have a 9-game NBA slate for this Monday, December 9th, 2019. Starting off at point guard like usual, James Harden's 12K, Westbrook's 9.6K. They're both pretty expensive here against the Kings. It is a pace down spot for them, and there's definitely some blowout potential. The Kings did play a pretty tough game on Sunday night against the Mavericks, went down to the wire. They won, but definitely on a back-to-back with Houston rested, Houston being at home. This could definitely turn into a blowout. But even if we're not projecting for blowouts, this is a pace down spot, and the prices are definitely expensive for both of these guys, so probably not going to be playing them. Devin Booker's fine, 8.5K against Minnesota. He has been a lot more aggressive recently, even with Rubio handling the ball a lot still. Kemba 8.1K for tournaments, sure, but Cleveland, sure, they're a easy defense, but they play really slow, so it's just kind of tough for players to have really high ceiling games unless there's injuries for the opposing team. D'Angelo Russell 7.7K is interesting because his minutes did increase a little bit, but it seems like maybe the Warriors are just going to limit everyone in terms of Russell and Draymond because they're like their main guys, even though Russell probably would be traded, so they don't really have like a need to limit him. It seems like they're just trying to limit their stars. So D'Angelo, we don't really know what kind of minutes he's gonna get, but if he's able to play, into the 30s and minutes, he should be able to see a whole lot of shots. Ball's gonna be in his hands a lot, and this is a pace-up matchup. Being at home, this game could possibly be a lot closer, and his price is definitely really appealing at 7.7K. Donovan Mitchell 7.4K against OKC with Mike Conley still out, very good. Gonna be a cash play, a core play for me, because without Conley, Mitchell plays point guard along with Joe Ingles, and his price is just still too cheap with Conley out. He should be over 8K when Conley is out, and because of the blowout last time, he didn't hit value, and he's still very affordable. OKC, they're not a great team, but they definitely should be able to keep this game close. So I like Mitchell 7.4K. Brogdon is questionable, so he definitely could look to Aaron Holiday and TJ McConnell for value. They are a little bit more expensive, but still very appealing at 4,100 for both of them. Drew Holiday 7.1K against Detroit. It's a pace down matchup, and Detroit's defense is okay, but Holiday's price is now down to 7,100, which seems just a little bit too cheap. And so that's just kind of why I like him. I think the price is good. His upside's still certainly there, 50-point upside. And he's definitely not going to be a popular play in my opinion. Ricky Rubio, 7K against Minnesota. His price is going up, but this is a very nice matchup. Minnesota's playing on a back-to-back. They have the Lakers tonight, so possibly there could be some injuries, some rest, because they have a lot of guys banged up. Teague, Wiggins, Towns were all on the injury report, so we don't know how that's going to shake out. But Rubio 7K, the matchup is very nice, so certainly he has the upside. I like him. And then Kyle Lowry 6,800 is interesting here. If Fred VanVleet is going to be out, I think Lowry is going to be a core play because that means Lowry's just going to have to play a whole lot of minutes, and the Raptors are not afraid to do that with their starters. They're pretty thin. They don't have a lot of bench depth, and even though they're on the back-to-back, it's the Bulls. The Bulls are not good, and their defense against point guards has definitely becoming a lot worse compared to the beginning of the season. Could be just a matchup thing, but like in terms of the strength of schedule, Kyle Lowry 1,600 is too cheap for the kind of minutes that he plays and just how he's able to contribute in so many ways in terms of fantasy. So he's gonna be a core play if VanVleet is out for me. And then Lou Williams 6,500. It's quite possible that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are going to miss. They currently are listed as uncertain because of the back-to-back, obviously. Indiana is a solid defense, but in any kind of matchup, when you have those two guys out, Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell just pick up so much usage, and both of them are just way too cheap. They have been priced up to like 7 and 8Ks when those guys are out, but they didn't adjust it for this time, and they are just both way too cheap. So I really like them. Gonna be core plays as well, both of them together. And then other guys, scrolling down, Lonzo 5,200. He has very good upside just because of like how he's able to contribute every way. So even if in a tough matchup, I think Lonzo's still in play because he's cheap. Patrick Beverley 5K. If all those guys are out, then yeah, he's worth a shot because he's gonna get more opportunities to shoot the ball. And we know he's a pretty aggressive player out there. He can get a lot of rebounds, steals, all that. And then if there's no really value that opens up with the Pacers guards, if Brogdon were to play, then maybe you can look at Corey Joseph if Bogdan Bogdanovic is going to be out because he just is still playing really hurt and it's a back-to-back, so there could be a chance that he sits out. In that case, again, there's still blowout risk, but Corey Joseph probably is going to play more minutes. He is also hurt himself, but 4,200 is pretty cheap for the starting point guard, even though he isn't that great of a player. Just as a value play, it's appealing. Same thing with Bruce Brown because he's cheap, same price, 4,200. The matchup is a whole lot better against New Orleans. It's a very nice matchup. The pace is there, and he's pretty much the starting point guard now, and his minutes aren't like that consistent. But 4,200 seems pretty cheap for a value play just because of the matchup against New Orleans. They're one of the fastest teams in the league, one of the worst defenses as well. So Bruce Brown is appealing. And then all the way down, Shabazz Napier, 3.1K. He is finally healthy. He's been out for quite some time. But we know that he's a really good fantasy producer if he's able to play those kind of minutes in the 20s. He's getting there. It's a back-to-back again, so we don't know if he's going to be rested or not. But probably, he'll play. And 3,100 is just too cheap because he definitely has the possibility to return 10x. But in regards to like if Brogdon is still going to be out, then I don't think you need to go that far down to Napier. On to shooting guard for guys that I haven't mentioned yet. Buddy Hield, 7.1K. This is a pace-up spot. Again, blowout risk, but if this game is going to be close, Buddy Hield's going to have to do a whole lot. He's probably going to be taking like 20 plus shots this game because the pace is there, the matchup. Houston, their defense is okay. They're not that great, honestly. And in a fast-paced game, he just takes so many threes, double-digit three-point attempts in just like over half of the games in the game log. And he's been rebounding a whole lot better. His assists, he's not really known for doing that, but they definitely run the offense a whole lot more through him. Even on a back-to-back, he's seen some pretty heavy minutes. Like, if you look at the last time, 25th of November, he still played really big minutes. And those Boston, it might have been overtime, I'm not sure, but still high 30s, low 40s in minutes. It's just a crazy kind of like minutes that he's getting, and the usage is going to be there. So Buddy Hield, he does seem a little bit cheap. And then elsewhere, going down, Chris Middleton, 6.6K is interesting because he is playing a whole lot, I should say, really well. And his minutes should go up because he's had some few games under his belt. So his price does seem a little bit too cheap, but it is a very tough match against Orlando. Jonathan Isaac's probably going to be guarding Giannis, so maybe Middleton does a little bit more. And his minutes are going to be probably in the 30s if this game is close. Joe Ingles, 5,400 with Conley out. His price is up now. You're not getting the same kind of value play, but Ingles is still a guy that has 40-point upside without Conley on the floor. So Ingles still, I think, he's a pretty good play that you could probably expect to get you like around 5x at least. So it's not going to be a popular play, not going to be a core play, but I'll have a little bit of him in tournaments for sure. And then Bogdan Bogdanovic, 4,800. That's too cheap. If he's able to play and this game stays close, obviously, it's definitely worth a shot because we know he has the kind of upside to put up 50, and at that point you're getting a 10x guy at 4,800, which is going to be definitely a tournament winner. So even though he's playing hurt, that's very concerning, but I think I'll probably take a little bit of a shot on him because he's just so cheap. Other than that, moving on to small forward, Kelly Oubre, 6,700. It's a good matchup. The pace is there, everything. Same with Rubio and Booker. So his price does seem pretty nice, 6,700, really fair. Joe Ingles, talked about him. OG Anunoby, 4,700 against Chicago. Chicago, they just give it up to everyone. And if VanVleet is out, there's going to be more usage, more shots opened up. So even though OG's coming off a pretty solid game, I think that the price is still really nice, 4,700 for a guy that plays usually some pretty heavy minutes, and he should be able to close if VanVleet's going to be out because they did close with Lowry, VanVleet, Powell, Siakam, and Gasol. So there's definitely concern if VanVleet were to play that OG loses minutes and he won't close, but if VanVleet's out, which I totally expect him to be because it is a back-to-back and he didn't return for the previous game, I think OG should be able to close, and at that point, he's gonna be probably a pretty solid floor play, I would say. He definitely has some upside as well, so worth a tournament shot. Mo Harkless, if all of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard are out, obviously. JaMychal Green returned for Sunday's game, but he seems like he's still hurt. He only played 4 minutes, and so Harkless was able to play 36. Harkless, he's probably going to have to play those kind of minutes again if George and Leonard are going to be out. JaMychal Green, I do have interest in, but it's just the kind of minutes that he got on Sunday's game just makes me believe that he's just not healthy. And so I would much rather just pay for Harkless at the same price, and his minutes definitely should be there. He definitely has a really low floor, but if he's able to play a whole lot of minutes, he probably will start if those guys are out. He's gonna get shots because of just the usage that's opened up. But yeah, you could definitely find probably better value plays. But as of now, I think he's definitely one of the top ones because of Kawhi and Paul George being potentially out. Moving on to power forward, Pascal Siakam, 7,900 against Chicago. If VanVleet is out again, more usage is going to be open up. Siakam, his price is coming down because of Lowry rather, coming back from injury. But now, if you lose VanVleet, it's kind of a similar situation because Siakam's gonna have to do a whole lot more. He's been like an 8, almost 9K player when Lowry was out, but now if VanVleet's gonna be out, you're getting a discount on Siakam at 7,900. And he's coming off of a bad game because he did go up against the Sixers, who are one of the best defensive teams in the league. But here against Chicago, one of the worst defensive teams in the league, his price is very nice. If VanVleet were to be out, I think Siakam is going to be a really strong play in my opinion. And then Sabonis, if Kawhi and Paul George would have missed, that definitely takes a hit for their defense. And so Sabonis, who is definitely more known for his offense, is going to have a much easier time on both ends of the court. And he's been such a consistent player this year. 7,800, he's pretty much like a double-double lock every game. Like, you just look at his game log, he's pretty much going to put up 40 DraftKings points. And for 40 DraftKings points at 7,800, that's a lock for 5x. And he has the potential to go 6, 7x. So I really like Sabonis if Kawhi and Paul George are out. Blake Griffin, 7,200 in the pace-up matchup. He seems a little bit cheap. He hasn't been playing that well, but this is a phenomenal spot. Just for any team that plays New Orleans. His price is a little bit up, but still I think that in a pace-ups matchup, you definitely can see him having a lot more shot opportunities. So maybe he approaches to 20 shots and definitely more shots are put up. So there's going to be more rebounds. And he's a guy that definitely handles the ball a whole lot. New Orleans does have a lot of turnovers, so he can definitely pick up some steals as well. So there's definitely potential for 50 DraftKings points in this spot for Blake Griffin. And he's probably going to be low on. We'll have to see, especially with Harrell and Lou Will. But Griffin definitely has a lot of good tournament appeal for today's slate. And then lastly, on to center, Andre Drummond, 10.1K. His price is very high now, and especially when you have Karl-Anthony Towns for 9,300, which is just way too cheap. If he's able to play, it's a back-to-back. He does have a knee injury, but Towns, that's so cheap. But Drummond, he's in a phenomenal spot. Both these centers are in just amazing dream matchups. Drummond's priced up now. Towns definitely has I would say the higher ceiling. He can get you 70, close to 80 even. Drummond's doesn't really have that kind of upside, but he definitely is able to contribute a whole lot more in terms of the rebounds and steals and blocks. Towns can get you there in assists and more points. And I think that you can try to maybe play both these guys, but I just think that you shouldn't because there's so many other great plays like Mitchell, Lou Will, Harrell, Lowry. So you might need like the extra utility spot for an extra guard. But Drummond, Towns, they're going to be really strong options on this slate. Drummond, it's the same thing with Blake. His upside is enormous here. He probably is going to get 20-20. Doesn't matter if Favors is in or out. this is just a phenomenal spot for every team or every player on any team that plays against New Orleans. And Towns, even with Wiggins back, the price is just too cheap. With Wiggins playing, he's usually like a 10K kind of guy, and you're getting, which I think is like a 1K discount at least against Phoenix, which they're just not that good. If Aaron Baines were to return, I still am going to like Karl-Anthony Towns a whole lot. But if Baines is out, then you get Kaminsky and Diallo, who are definitely not good defenders, and so Towns is just going to be able to eat as long as he's able to play, if he's healthy. But there are other very strong options as well at center. Rudy Gobert, 7,800, still is too cheap. He's so consistent. He has a whole lot of block upside. We know that he finishes a lot around the rim, just very efficient, and his rebounds are always going to be there. So Gobert, too cheap, very solid cash play. Clint Capella, he just lost minutes last game, which is very crazy because I thought it'd be the other way around where Diallo had a matchup against Capella, but for some reason Houston just didn't play Capella when he's been just on fire this season. But his price is definitely coming down now because of those minutes, but we know the kind of upside that he has. Rashawn Holmes is definitely going to be out there for the Kings, so I would think that Capella probably can stay on the court for this game, but again, blowout risk. Probably would prefer to just go up to like Towns, but Capella makes for a very intriguing play. Valanciunas as well, 7,100. His price is down because of foul trouble last game. John Morant is probable, so he probably returns, so that's a usage decrease for Val. But Joe Val, just his minutes are up now. He's playing a whole lot more, and he's a double-double kind of guy, and he has enormous upside. 50, he hit 60 even this season. And Golden State, we know they're just a team that allows ceiling games to at least like one player on the opposing team. So definitely, I think Joe Val could be the guy. John Morant could be limited. He missed like a little bit over a week, I believe. But I think Joe Val just still, the matchup is too good. So I really like him. And then other guys, Miles Turner, if we're looking down, and obviously Montrezl Harrell, 1,600, as I mentioned. But Miles Turner, 5,300. The Clippers, they're undersized. They always get abused by opposing centers, and Miles Turner plays a whole lot better at home. So without Kawhi, Paul George, Turner could definitely have an easier time in the paint. 5,300 is too cheap for the kind of upside that he has, but definitely has a pretty low floor. So gonna be more of a tournament option for me. Marc Gasol, 4,800, because of just how bad Chicago is at rebounding, and Gasol, he's able to contribute a whole lot in terms of fantasy. He definitely isn't the same kind of player, but the matchup is definitely pretty nice. And then Daniel Tice, 4,200 against Cleveland because of Robert Williams being ruled out. You can definitely consider Enes Kanter as well for 3,800, but Daniel Tice is power forward eligible, and you definitely are going to need that center spot today, in my opinion. So I think Tice is going to be a better play. His minutes should be there. And by minutes being there, I think he definitely plays like around 20 at least without Williams. So the matchup is pretty nice. And Tice, he's a pretty productive player actually when he gets the minutes. Jackson Hayes, if Derek Favors is out, sure. Same with Jahlil Okafor even, because they're going to need size. Okafor probably is able to step out on the court this game. But there's definitely very significant foul trouble risk. And then the last option is going to be Trick Diallo, 3,600. Just again, against Minnesota, if he's able to play more minutes than he has, just because of like foul trouble for Kaminsky or something, and obviously I should mention that this is only if Aaron Baines is out. Karl-Anthony Towns is going to have the ball a whole lot, right? So there's going to be a very significant chance that there's foul trouble risk. So I think Diallo could definitely benefit in terms of matching up probably better than Kaminsky. So Diallo worth a tournament shot for 3,600. But overall on this slate, Donovan Mitchell gonna be a core play along with Lou Will, pending the Clippers' star statuses. And then I'm gonna play Harrell power forward because then I could play Karl-Anthony Towns, who was just way too cheap at 9,300, and then Kyle Lowry at 6,800 if VanVleet were to be out. So these 5 plays I really feel just really good about on this slate. So I'll give you an update, or I'll provide updates as the day goes on for tomorrow. Just follow me on Twitter at Ballfuls. Link will be in the description below. I always update everything on there. If you have any questions about other players that I didn't mention, or you want me to go in depth on other players, you can also add me on Twitter, or you can just leave a comment in the YouTube section down below. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and also subscribe to the channel. And good luck on this slate, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.